Happy about the weather actually. Thankfully, it
Uh,
dropped a few degrees. It's windy today, so yeah, that is the best part of the day. So
mhm. Okay, glad to hear that. And yes, we are live. Good evening to all the learners joining us from different parts. I can see Munira Ali saying good evening, both of you. Good evening, Munira. Good evening, Gunjan. Gunjan says, hi, good evening, ma'am. Good evening. Perfect. Just let us know in the comment section if we are clearly audible and visible to you, and then we'll start an amazing session.
yeah, and
First of
I
all,
hope I'm
first
audible and there are no
time
disturbances. So
are you excited for your today's live session, Miss Tanishka?
I am. I'm doing it for the first time. So yes, pretty excited.
Okay, glad to hear that. We have some amazing learners. They join us every time and are quite curious ones. So I'm sure they're going to drop a lot of questions for you.
I'm willing
Yeah.
to take all the questions. That's something I love to resolve.
Wow. Perfect. Naval says, hi, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Naval. We are doing good and we hope that you're super excited for the weekend, although half of it is gone, but no one can just
Wow.
experience something better than Sunday.
Yeah,
Right?
Saturday nights are happy nights, right? So yeah,
Definitely. That's why we shifted from Sunday live to Saturday live so that people can enjoy
yeah,
that feeling, okay, we can get up late tomorrow.
yeah, exactly.
um, Perfect. Naval says, ma'am, are you live? Yes, we are live. It's not a recorded session, Naval. Whatsoever you'll be asking, we'll be answering right away. Okay.
Well,
And now that we both are live, shall we tell our
mhm.
learners what are we bringing on table today? What's the topic for discussion?
Yes, something I'm really excited to talk about.
Uh-huh. Okay, all right. So if you all have seen the chat box or if you've seen our community post, then you might be aware. Today we are here to talk about or rather prepare you on how to crack interviews online. The whole world is switching over to online mode. Why not we prepare ourselves for interviews online? Isn't it?
That is true. That is very true. I don't know one company that's not taking an interview online now, whether it's your first round, second round, third round, unless and until absolutely necessary, everything is happening remote. So to be prepared to have the right etiquette for it is important nowadays. It's really, really important.
For sure, I have to agree with it. So, dear learners, today, as we said, that we are going to tell you about how to crack online interviews. But before that, I would like to tell you that if you're joining us and you like the content that we bring to you, do not forget to like the session, subscribe English Yaari so that we keep on bringing the best content just for you in top-notch quality, right?
Yes, please. That is true.
Yeah.
And subscribe for more lives. Lives are the best way to learn. You'll have two tutors who are just, there to resolve all the queries you have.
Absolutely. And the best part is here when you take live session with us, it's not about two tutors having a conversation. You are equally a part of it. And surprisingly, in this whole session, you'll be getting a chance to do a lot of activities with us, learn not theoretically, rather
Yeah.
practically. And this
Yes.
conversation is going to be two ways, not just one way. Am I right, Ms. Tanishka?
Yes, you are. We have a lot of questions coming up. We have a lot of discussions coming up, and you guys have to be a part of it because it's designed in a way that where we need you more than you need us. We need you to participate. We need you to comment. We need to know your views.
Yes, Vedant says good evening, ma'am. Good evening, Vedant. Very excited for the session. Even we are. And now it's time for us to draw the two bomb and start the session, shall we?
Yes.
Before I actually start and ask question on your behalf to Ms. Tanishka, I request you to drop your questions as well. What you think is majorly difficult for you in online interviews or any question related to online interviews, feel free to put in and we'll take it by the end. Right?
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. So whenever we talk about interviews, I think the most searched question out there on Google is how to crack an online interview. So I would like to ask you, what's the secret
Okay.
sauce?
Oh, ouch. Okay, so there is not, I would say it's not a secret sauce. It's rather something, you get told everywhere. Preparation is the key. Do not go into an interview just thinking, hey, I have an idea about my field. I can just go ahead and sit and, I'll be able to do it. Every interviewer is
Mm-hmm.
going to be different. There's a certain amount of etiquette required in every interview. There's a certain amount of knowledge required in every interview. Be very specific about the job description. Read the job description that you're applying for. That helps you in actually being able to curate questions that might be asked. So having that
Okay.
preparedness can really help you beat almost all interviews. You get a good feedback, even if you do not fit the company. You'll get a feedback where they say that yeah, we are actually impressed by you. You might get offered a different role. So all of that comes from being prepared, being precise. You know, do not go hazy while you're giving the interview. Be very precise about your answers. Be very precise about what you have applied for. So it's about
Mm-hmm.
precision and it's about preparedness.
Okay, all right. So the secret sauce is in preparation. What you do before actually going in
Yeah,
interview matters the most, is it?
yeah, it does.
Okay. All right. Well, how I consider her, how I look at interviews, I look at interviews as online dates. See, you have a lot of knowledge and skills. Now you have
Yeah,
to find a right company which matches and have a same compatibility. Then there's a perfect match and you get selected.
yeah,
Right?
that
So
is
as
true.
you said, prepare. So please prepare before applying. I think the major drawback of people applying in online interviews and getting rejected is they apply endlessly, especially from platforms like Indeed, LinkedIn. Now it's super easy and convenient for you to reach out to the HR executives. So they apply
Yeah,
and forget which company they were
that is
trying for.
true. Yeah. And when you're applying on LinkedIn, always go through the description. And a lot of descriptions you'll see, even though you have, you have that option called easy apply, you know, but when you read the description, the HR person
Not
has
that
left a
easy.
particular email, right? That
Yeah.
person has left an email. Go back, send them an email with your resume attached. Cover letters. Cover letters matter a lot. They give a basic idea about what you've done and what you would be, giving to the company. So your cover
Mm-hmm.
letter really matters. The correct grammar in that cover letter really matters, and then
Mm-hmm.
your resume being attached. So all
Yes.
of these things are really important. Just doing an easy apply and submitting on LinkedIn might not be the best way to do it.
Okay, as we are discussing this somewhere or the others, people have tried. To all my lovely audience out there, I want to know from you, have you ever done it? Let's suppose just by looking at, okay, they are hiring, have you applied and forgotten that, oh, I was applying for that job? Sometimes it happens, people
Yeah,
call you, or telephonically and they say,
to
hey, you
check.
applied for this company. And then you're like,
Mm.
did I? Can you tell me the company name, what this company does? So it's a big turn off. So please make sure that you're mindful where you have applied.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
exactly. Make a
Yeah.
list, use it for your, use technology, use AI for your benefit. Manage to make a list that, okay, these are the jobs I've applied to for this, week. One, it helps you in understanding, okay, how many I've applied, where I've gotten like a reply back, and who are the people I still need to reach out again because I haven't gotten feedback. So maintain that
Yes.
list with you because somebody calls you and they're like, because they want to check if you're available for the interview or not. But then when you ask them back to what is this company, they're like, maybe not the best person to interview. So yeah,
Yeah.
so to remember. Yeah.
Happens. This is so true. And our lovely audience, as I said, I would love to hear the stories in case you have done this
Yes.
thing in your life ever.
Yeah.
Right.
We are not here to judge, so please do tell us. I'm sure everyone has done it at some point. If not like after your career gets started, but maybe initially when we're all applying for jobs right after college, we do this a lot, because we're
Yes.
like, okay, I just
We all
need money, I just need that job. It doesn't matter what company it is. So we end up applying to a lot of places, just, LinkedIn, Naukri.com, continuously applying, applying, applying. So yeah,
Okay, so now you told me that if you want to crack any interview and to our lovely audience as well, we need to prepare beforehand. My second question to you is why online interviews? Why people are taking online interviews these days? Why not offline interviews? And do you think it's privileged to have online interviews than offline interviews?
yes. See, okay, online interviews are very, very convenient, not just for the person giving the interview, but also the recruiter. From the recruiter point of view, it is easy to, connect to so many applicants in one day rather than having them on the office, one after the other, them waiting in the waiting room, right? And by the time your turn comes, you're so tired, you don't even feel like giving the interview, right? Because that has happened to a lot of the seniors. If you talk to seniors who didn't have this chance to give online interview, they will tell you the hustle and bustle of giving an offline interview. You have to get your shirt signed, you have to get your pants signed, you have to look a certain way. There's so much to it. Gladly, when you're giving an online interview, there are two to three things that really matter. One being, okay, only half of you are visible. So if you're wearing shorts below, it's all right. Just remember not to stand up in front of the camera. And after that, what really matters is your background, right? So your background looking really subtle, or having just a whiteboard, or maybe a desk and a chair setup, right? So something so simple. You don't have to prepare a lot in an online interview as per your logistics, as far as your logistics are concerned. So I would say that it is definitely, a positive side for us as applicants, that we are getting a chance to apply online. And just think about it. You don't have to go anywhere. You have to give it from the comfort of your home. So it's that simple, you know. So yeah, I think it's a boon for us to have this
Definitely.
chance to give all our interviews, online. So
Yes, definitely. And I think now we have a lot of stories. Naval says, first of all, we should read the job description and we should update our resume accordingly. Very, very good point. I've seen it,
yes,
Naval, at times when you see the resume versus what the person is speaking. You're like, hey, you didn't mention in the resume. And they're like, oh, sorry, I forgot to update my resume. This is a big turn off
yeah,
moment. You cannot do that. Right?
yeah,
And
exactly.
second, we have from Rahul. Rahul says that it's just happened to me, and currently I'm doing job over there. Oh, we just said that we apply endlessly. Okay, good job, Rahul. He said after afternoon, okay, I got a call. We'll not say after afternoon. See, again, it's rhyming and it's not making sense, Rahul. I got a call, and first 2 minutes went in just knowing who they are. Okay, yes, we just said people end up saying, may I know which company you're calling from? What you people do? Instead of the recruiter taking your interview, you take that person's interview first. And
Exactly.
this is super fun. Right.
Yeah. So that's why read the job descriptions, guys, and remember it. Remember the companies that you have applied for. So
Yes, absolutely.
yeah.
Okay, I have an interesting question for you, Mr. Nishka. Let's suppose any of our learners have their interview lined up. Okay. Now,
Okay.
what, according to you, they must prepare beforehand? We always say prepare yourself before sitting in interview. What preparation this person should do? What are some of the hacks or cheat sheet you can give our learners today?
Okay. So some of the pointers I would say would be one, be prepared physically. You know, you need to have the appropriate environment when you're sitting to give an interview. So as basic as it is, make sure you have a good connection, right? Make
Okay.
sure your Wi-Fi is working properly. You're actually able to connect. Make sure your laptop, your camera is on point, and you can actually set it now visible to the other person, right? And you're able to actually talk to them. Second would be, make sure that your background doesn't have hindrance in it. Do not sit in a place where people can pass by, because
Mm.
a lot of the times when we're sitting at home, our moms pass by. They don't know the gravity of this situation, right? They don't know I'm just sitting for a corporate interview, right? So they might pass by, or sometimes the maid passes by in the background, right?
Housemate. Oh my
So,
God. Yeah.
yes, yeah, and you can't scold your house help. The woman is just here to clean the house, right? So you can't do that. So make sure your environment is in such a format. But either you have a wall behind, right? You have a white wall behind, or you're sitting in a room and bolt the room, right? If you have that privilege, bolt it up, right? So that nobody can enter. It also, stops all the noise that's coming from outside, which can be very helpful. Make sure there's no fan noise. A lot of the times that covers up everything. And whatever you're saying, the recruiter keeps on saying, hey, I can't catch you. Hey, I can't catch you. I can't hear you. So either switch off the fan or put it on the low speed, because it
Or
really
use
hinders with
earphones
most
or
of our,
headset.
yeah, exactly. So being physically prepared like this is something that's very important. Do not wear t-shirts. Make sure
Uh,
you're wearing shirts. It's an official interview. You're applying for a corporate post or you're applying for any sort of post. You need to look professional, right? So that's that. And the backgrounds. Oh God, do not put virtual backgrounds. I will scold people now if I see anyone doing this. Even in sessions, guys, don't do it. Do not do
uh,
it. You know, sometimes I can't see you and I can so see only Nemo roaming around in the background, in the sea.
mm,
Okay.
yeah.
So
People,
having a
let's suppose
professional background is important.
let's suppose I am in interview and it's going to be a tough interview. You know, they say if your job role or the person is paying you high, the person will take that level of interview to check the
Yeah,
credibility, to check that trust of whether you have it or not. Of course, and it's going
exactly.
to go long. Let's suppose I am in that tense situation. It's a good position, it's a big position, it means a lot to me, and I'm sitting on a beach, a background with a beach mood.
Yeah,
How would that be? It's
yeah,
complete off,
exactly.
right?
Exactly, you know, and try to be as natural as possible. Although virtual backgrounds sometimes they're needed, and I can understand you might not have, you know, the perfect background. That's why you're using it. Go for something
Mm-hmm.
that's extremely subtle. Go for just a plain white background or a plain black background. Meet provides, and a lot of other platforms have started providing just colors, right? So a solid color behind you is still fine, but if you're sitting in one of those fake office setups where you are in the chair and there's a plant right here, might not be the best choice, right?
Yes.
So try to be as professional as you can be in terms of your appearance, in terms of your environment while you're giving the interview.
Mm-hmm.
That's very, very important. So
Yeah,
that's one.
they say never judge a book by its cover, but in interview, the person is sitting there to judge you. The person is
Yeah,
getting paid to judge you. So please don't go by that quote.
exactly.
Here, if
Yeah,
I could conclude what you just said, whenever you have your interview lined up, the cheat sheet for you is, or the pointers for you is number one, please make sure that you're sitting professionally. You're at a place. I don't know why people get it wrong. They sit at a place where I could just see their face. At
yeah,
least your shoulder should be visible to the person so that your hand gestures or your body language can tell a lot about you. So sitting at a
exactly.
well lit place. Secondly, background,
Mm.
be mindful of background. Do not go with some
Yeah,
different quirky background, maybe a beach or a movie theater
yeah,
or people having a lot of
yeah.
buildings or bustle around. Please do not do that.
Don't do
Be
that.
mindful
Yeah.
of which organization you are sitting for. The person may ask you, what do we do? And if you do not have the
Yeah,
question, that can ruin the conversation ahead, right? And
exactly.
as you just
So,
said, that online interviews are easy. You just have to groom yourself half, I would say, not even fully.
uh, yeah,
In
exactly.
online interviews, there's so much. You have to iron your clothes. You have to sit. You have to enter in a room in a particular way, sit properly, whatnot. In online interviews, you open your laptop from the comfort of your home, start taking it, right?
Yeah. And although I think before starting the live, I just told Shruti that I don't really want to quote this. But I come from a background where I have to study body language as a part of my curriculum and everything. One of the best things we learn while you're giving an online interview, your gestures, your body language really matters. And the way you dressed up really matters. It shows if you put in effort before sitting for the interview or not. So one of the really simple tricks is wear a watch, right? It shows that you invested right before sitting for the interview. You invested time. You came prepared for this. So wearing a subtle watch, wearing really for women, wear very minimalistic jewelry. It shows that you're professional, shows you are sitting for something that you really want to be a part of. Although these things will never be told to you by the recruiter, no recruiter will ever come and tell you these tips. But these are some things that are really important when we study body language, right? When we do experiments related to body language. So we learn these things. So make sure that professionalism really speaks out. So
Yes.
that's what
Otherwise,
I do.
I myself have seen and witnessed people, they just get up early mornings with the swollen eyes and the throat is yet so down. And then they're like, oh, my name
Yeah,
is this and I've done this. Hey, come on, can't you just put this interview on priority? Do you consider it lightly? Of course, I would not take you in my
yeah,
company. I want people who are active. So please be mindful of
exactly.
that. Okay,
Yeah.
now we discussed a lot on what to do and what not to. How about we do a quick activity with our learners? What do you say?
Yes, please. Yes. So I would say, yeah, an activity is a good idea. Let's start with something very situation based. I'm sure some
Yes.
common situations are faced by everybody, so we can
True.
start with like very situation based activity, right? So how
Mm-hmm.
it'll go is that we'll give you a small situation, we'll give you options. We want you to choose what you would do, right, in that particular
Yes.
situation. And then we
Instead
can
of us
discuss
telling
further.
you, yeah, all the things that, hey, do this, do that.
Yeah.
No. Today you get to choose the right option or the wrong answer. We will give you two
Yes.
choices, a situation, and let's see if you're good at it. Before that, I want all of you to write yes or excited in the chat box so that we know that you are actually excited.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
and
we
we
have
know
a
that you're
comment.
still here.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we have a comment from Kaniz Fatima. Says, "Hello, ma'am. I'm late. It's okay, Kaniz. The session would go uh, live up on our YouTube channel, so it would be recorded. You can check the recording anytime."
Perfect.
Right? Yeah. Munira says, V2 says, getting background noise. You're getting background noise from my end, is it? I don't know.
Oh, if it's from my end, I can see and I can look into it. Let us know,
Okay.
please.
Let us know once if anyone else is facing the same issue.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Now we move on with our very first question. Shall we bring it up?
Yes.
I want
Yes.
you to bring the first question.
Okay, right. So the first situation that will be kicking off right now is that let's suppose when you're sitting for the interview and the recruiter says something and you couldn't catch the recruiter, you couldn't understand what they have said or what they have asked from you, right? So in that situation, what would you say? What would your reply be? So we'll give you two options. First one being, I couldn't hear you because you were stuck. Or the second one, which is, I apologize, I lost you in the middle, and could you please repeat?
Okay, nice. So for your betterment, what we are doing is we'll put this all into chat box as well. Just for the better
Yeah.
reference, you can go with it. Shall we repeat
Meanwhile,
one more time?
I hope there's no background noise from my end, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. Sanjay Yadav says, "Hi, good evening, ma'am." Good evening, Sanjay. Okay. Could you please come again? The Tavleen says, yeah, no worries, Tavleen. Ma'am has just given you a situation where let's suppose you couldn't hear your interviewer clearly what the person said. Now, in this situation, what would you say? Number one, option one is I couldn't hear you because you were stuck. This is the first option. Second option is I apologize, I lost you in the middle. Could you please repeat? So these are two answers. What would you choose? Would you go with option A or would you go with option B? The choice is yours. Let us know your answers and we are waiting for in the comment section. Meanwhile, I want to know from you, Ms. Tanishka, that whenever we sit for interviews, we all have nerve-wracking experience. It's not something which is
Hmm.
easy, you're
Yeah.
not so comfortable. How to
Yeah.
deal with that jittery feeling, the butterflies in stomach? What to do?
Oh, yes. Okay, so for that, so yeah, I have myself faced that right after my graduation. If anybody asked me to give an interview, I would start sweating. I used to feel that, such experienced people, how am I supposed to face them? How am I supposed to face a recruiter who's, very well versed about the company and everything? And I would get jittery. So the first would be very confident about your own resume. And again, a lot of it will relate to what we have just covered, that applying for the right jobs, applying for a job that you really want to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that one fills you with the confidence that, yeah, I have prepared for this, I have studied this, and that's why I've applied for it, right? You know you have justifiable answers. So you can always write before the interview, tell yourself that I am prepared, I'm applying for the right thing, and this is what I really want to do, and I'll be able to do it, right? So these very small affirmations really, really help, right?
Self talk, positive self talk. Yes.
Yes, that
Okay,
helps.
and
And
I I think the learners would use this now. Just be positive and tell good to yourself. You are ready for
yeah,
it.
yeah, exactly. Do that, right? And then there's this very, very subtle thing that we do. It's called, you can search it up if you guys really want. When we prepare people for interviews, we say use the technique called miracle questioning, right? So, miracle questioning is something that right before the interview, you know, let's suppose, tell yourself that by some miracle, something has happened and I've gotten this position. I'm ready, the person has hired me, what will I be doing once I get the job, right? Think
Okay.
about the things that you will be having in the future because of this job. Because if you're applying for something, there must be some motivation behind it, right? That this is the reason I'm applying for it, right? So as soon as you get the job, is everything that you actually plan for getting fulfilled? So just having that sense of, yeah, once I crack it, these are all the things that are about to happen, right? That puts you in a good place, puts you in a good mood, reduces your nervousness right before the interview. Always do miracle questioning that I've gotten it, this has happened, this job is mine, the person really likes me, my boss loves me, what now? Right. So those small things can really help you out. So
Okay, and
do these two
meanwhile, our
things.
learners have started answering it up. Let's see.
Yes.
So, first of all, Tavleen's English Hub says second option. Munira Ali says option B. Rahul says better to apologize. Sanjay says option 2. I think majority of our learners are going with option B. And we have a question from Rebound Resilient Ruby as well. We'll definitely take your questions, Ruby. First of all, it's time for you to spill the beans and tell whether they are right or wrong.
So ding ding ding, we have a winner, and yes, the option is correct. That is the right way to deal with this question. So yeah, you guys are on the right track. I think everyone's really listening to us.
Yeah, why this is right, can anyone tell? I think we I got a question better answer. Rahul said better to apologize, definitely. Pinkesh Patel says, oh Pinkesh, welcome. I think Pinkesh is one of the learners who join every time we come live.
Oh wow, such
Yeah, this
regularity.
is yes, exactly. So now, if anyone can tell why we started with option B, why not? What's wrong with option A? If you couldn't hear the question clearly, can we say I couldn't hear you because you were stuck? Can't we say that? Meanwhile, I want to know from you, why shouldn't we say this? Why option A is wrong?
Okay, so first of all, do not tell the other person that that person is stuck, right? Stuck may not be the best word, right? So that is one of the reasons why we are discouraging you guys to use that particular term, right? Don't go ahead and say that, like say that, I couldn't hear you because you were stuck, right? Doesn't put the
Yeah.
best of impressions, right? Whereas the way you answer questions really matters, the way you ask it out, the way you ask that, because you couldn't hear them, the way you put it across really matters. So it's somewhere about the very basic etiquettes of communicating the things that you want to, instead of just putting it on the other person and saying, you were stuck.
And that's
Right.
that's like
Don't do the
blaming.
blaming game.
Hey,
Yeah.
instead of you saying that, hey, I couldn't hear you properly or there was a network issue, you're blaming the person you were stuck. That is bad, because in interview, as I said, you are being judged at every point. So please be mindful of the
Yeah.
words you use, sound polite, act polite, and this
Yeah.
can definitely be a game changer. Now let's come
Yeah.
on to the second question and take it to a little different level and see if our learners are ready with it. The second one is, let's suppose it happens in interviews, you do not know the right answer for any particular question. Okay. So let's suppose you encounter a question and you have no clue what to say. In that situation, what would you say to your recruiter? Option A, can you repeat the question, please? And option B is, I'm unable to recall at this moment. What would you say? Would you go with option A or would you go with option B? Come on, I want you all to put your things and put your answers right up in the chat section. Let's see if you're going well. Meanwhile, they're writing and they're giving the answers. I want to know from you, what is that one thing you always do before going for any interviews? Anything apart from positive self-talk or this miracle questioning
Hmm.
technique that you've shared? Anything that you do?
Yeah. I make sure I wake up like early that day. Right. If I have
Okay.
an interview at 10 o'clock, if I have an interview at 11 o'clock, I make sure I wake up early. Gives you the time to be prepared in your head. Before delivering anything, you really need to be prepared here, right? So I make sure I get up early that day. I'm a person who is really, really addicted to coffee. Would not advise it to other people, but I make sure that I put myself in a good mood. I think that really, really helps you while you're giving the interview because you come out as somebody really, positive. You come out as somebody who's prepared, right? Put
Hmm.
yourself in a good mood. That's the key to sitting for any interview. If you seem gloomy, if you seem scared, right, the first impression is not going correct for the recruiter, right?
So
First impression is the last impression in a lot of cases, right? So sometimes you feel that, this recruiter ghosted me. Okay, I didn't get a reply back, right? And this was the first round of the interview. How can I get rejected in the first round, right? So sometimes it's simply because you couldn't put yourself across in the best possible way, even though you are a good fit for that job. You still couldn't do it, in a way where the other person understands that you're a good fit. I often tell learners, learning to market yourself is very important, right? Knowing to actually how to describe your skill set is important. For that, I make sure that, before sitting for an interview, I'm in a good space. My stomach is not grumbling. I've had something to eat. It's not just important for going outside your house, even if you're sitting for an interview, satiate yourself before you sit for something. Otherwise, your stomach will constantly physically grumble. You'll feel more scared, right? That's that. And right before, like 1 hour, 2 hour before your interview, do go through your own resume. Make sure that the company that you apply to, the cover letter that you send them, and the resume that you send them, you're well versed with it. I always make sure that I know the exact headers of my resume. I know exactly what skills I have mentioned because those are the questions that they'll ask you out of your resume. So being prepared is important.
okay. Right. Yes, Roshan, you said even if my mood is chill, you have to sound light. You just have to relax because in interviews, it's
Yeah.
okay if you do not crack any. As I said, it's all about a perfect match. It's okay. Keep on hunting for it to land in a good job. And coming on to the question, so we asked you a question in case you do not know a particular question in the interview asked by the interviewer. What would you say? And majority of you have gone with option A. Okay. First, okay, we have option B too. Pinke says, I'm not able to recall at this moment. Okay. Viru says the same. I'm unable to recall the answer. Right now, I'm unable to recollect. Surya, okay. Uh,
Hmm.
Rangshi Gilak, if I'm saying it right, says option A. Kani says B. Munira, option A, B. Okay, there's a lot of confusion between option A and option
It's a mix of answers.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Now, coming on to the exact answer, here we'll definitely go with option B that you're unable to recall the answer right now. Why did we say option B? Can anyone say why option A is wrong? Why shouldn't we say, can you please repeat the question? Why not this? Meanwhile, I'll also tell you. See, whenever someone is giving you any question and you do not have the idea, you must not beat around the bush. You must value your and interviewer's time. You'll keep on saying many things, but do you really think the person will be convinced by your haywire ideas or your answers? No. It's better you take the charge and say that I'm sorry, at this point of time, I'm unable to recall or I'm unable to justify this answer. However, I have dealt with such questions or I've dealt with such situations beforehand, depending upon whatsoever they ask you. Isn't it? Do you think they should go by complete guessing or they should understand and
What?
tell that, hey, I'm sorry, I wasn't able to.
Yeah, I would say don't do any guess and play during the interview because, as Shruti said, the time here is very important. The recruiter's time is very important. You can sometimes see it on the recruiter's face that he really wants to wrap things up.
Yes.
Catch those cues. Catch the cues that the recruiter is giving you. Catch the non-verbal cues there and try to wrap things up. If you don't know, you don't know. Beating around the bush, you'll say
Yes.
something that's completely irrelevant and will put you in a worst position possible, right?
And why to say,
Because he
please
might ask more
repeat.
questions. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
So
Okay. Um, Here Pinkesh said something. Hey, both of you, I hope you are having a great day. I would like to share a common issue of cracking jobs interview. It's accent, especially American or UK. Okay, he's asking in case you come across any recruiter who is a native speaker. Do you think that time it's difficult? You should put on the accent because the person is putting it, or you just go natural.
go natural. So this is a quick query like a lot of learners are asked during sessions also. I get asked a lot of times from what accent to follow, right? And I've always told people that your accent does not matter as long as your pronunciation is correct. Understand there's a difference between the two terms. The accent and the pronunciation are two different terminologies, right? So, as long as you're pronouncing something correctly and it's not coming across as the wrong word, you don't have to copy the accent. Do not do that because it will not look natural. They'll understand, right? The recruiter will
They can
understand that you aren't a native. Yeah, you aren't a native speaker, right? So
Yes.
as long as your pronunciation is correct, you don't have to worry about the accent. Do not copy any accents, right? Because being well versed in an accent takes a lot of years actually for somebody who's not a native speaker. So don't put yourself through that trouble because I mean, think about it. You can't always put on an accent whenever you're working with that company, right? At some point, you'll be like, this is not my
Really
accent, right?
natural.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
So
I
go
think
natural.
Rebound
Do not
Lily
copy.
said the same. She said, be real, whatever you are going to say. Don't make a bunch of story during interviews. Yeah, people cook a lot of
Yes.
stories. Once I got a chance to do this project in my organization, and when you're cooking up stories, your eye contact is actually a mirror. We get to know whether you are saying it on spot or you have actually done it before. So it's better
Yeah.
we do not fool the interviewer because you cannot. The person has made
Yeah.
a lot of interviews. It could be your fifth or sixth interview, but the person is doing this from a long time now and is smart
Exactly.
enough to catch such things, right?
That is true. That recruiter, you have to always remember the recruiter does it, throughout the day. So he's seeing a bunch of people. So he's aware about the tactics that you pull off, right? So
Yes.
that's very important. So, yeah, do not copy accents. Do not try to search the answers right in the moment, right?
Oh my God, I have seen it. Believe me or not, let's suppose you are sitting in interviews. I've done it previously. People tend, let's suppose you are an interviewer, okay? I got a
Mm.
chance to interview some of the candidates. Then I have seen them typing in front of you. Now you can hear the chat board, you can hear the typing sound. And see, when you are searching on Chat GPT on Google, first of all, you have to type. So that time,
Yeah.
the interviewer is doing nothing, just looking at it. Secondly, your eye
Yeah,
contact. You're not so genius that you will write, still maintaining the eye contact. And then you'll wait. What if your network
exactly.
is weak? So you're waiting for that
Hmm.
surfing to stop and give you the option, and then you make it in your words.
Yeah,
It's a lot. And then you
it's a
lose
lot.
your credibility, you lose your trust. Once you lose a trust of a person, no matter what, no one will choose you. And this is not the ethical way of cracking an
Yeah,
interview, right?
yeah. So a lot of people, do this thing while they're applying for the job. They mention a lot of things. Yeah, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. But then when you get questioned about it later during the interview, if you have lied while applying, make sure you work on those lies because you will get questioned about it. I mean, obviously, do not lie first of all.
Yeah.
If by chance you've done it, make sure that you're well versed with it because when they question you and you search in front of them, And especially to all the folks who use spectacles, it's visible right here.
And the moment you
Okay?
change the tab, the moment you're searching,
Yeah.
it's pretty visible. The
So
glares. Okay,
yeah, so
what?
the person can see it, right? So don't try to pull out a stunt in the moment, right? If you again, if you don't know, you don't know. It's okay to not know everything. A lot of the times, you have certain skill set, and the recruiter might not be looking for it. But now, because he knows about your skill set, you may not fit that job role, but he's a recruiter. He might say, okay, maybe not this, but this job role is more suited for this person. And this person seems to be very well versed with, this skill set. So maybe I can, recommend or offer this job role instead. Believe it or not, it happens. And a lot of the times, what you applied for, you don't get that, but the company offers you a certain different position because they're actually impressed by your work. So the more true you are to yourself and to what you have actually achieved till now, that can help you get something out of it. So do not lie. It's as simple as that. And don't
Yeah,
cheat
let us
while
know.
the interview is going.
Yes, all of you, let me know in the chat section if you have done any cheating, if you have slightly tried searching for it, and also tell did you get a job afterwards or not. And majority
Yeah,
of the times, this is one thing I've seen. Let's suppose you do not know the answer. Of course, you'll feel bad. No one feels happy if you are not able to answer. You do not feel
yeah,
good. Now, already you are in a nervous situation. In online interviews, people run away while giving interviews. Let's suppose Ms. Tanishka asks me a question and I do not know it. I'll just click on end button and go. That's such a coward nature, right? It's
yeah,
okay if you're not able to recall, at least you're getting experience. I always say,
yeah.
learners, that take mock interviews here at EnglishYaari when you're taking sessions. At least now you're prepared for your the day. How should I perform? Isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. And
How long would you
if you don't know the answer, don't run away. Not the best solution. Puts you in a really weird place. And if you are running away, run away properly. Don't join back.
run?
Because sometimes
Yeah.
people do this and people think because I left, I can search it up, come back, reply. Mm-mm.
No, that time
The
interviewer will
recruiter will
also do
know.
interviewer will change the question. What would you do then?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
4
don't
US
pull this
shortage.
out.
Tomorrow is the exam. Oh my God, he has his exam tomorrow. He's joined us. Good job.
So
Kudos.
I
Write
hope
the
it goes well. Yeah.
Yes, perfect. Now, as we did a small, section with them, we asked them to choose the option. But let's do another quick activity, okay? This time, let's see how they react to the certain questions which are set. Means, of course, interviewer is going to ask. Can you give any questions to them, and how would
Hmm.
they react to it?
Okay, so a couple of questions that are very, very basic and always get asked is one, once they've interviewed you, they'll definitely ask the question, do you have any questions for us?
Oh, quite a common one. Yes.
Very, very common. They will always ask you, right? So there's this thing called feedback loop. As much as you want the feedback, they want the feedback, right? They want to understand what you got from it and do you have some genuine queries out of it. So again, this is an activity. So first, you guys go ahead. You guys tell us what you think about it and what you would ask them, or if you've had any experiences, recently or in the past where this was asked and what did you ask back. We'd love to know from you before we go ahead and discuss more on this.
Yes, so the question is simple. By the end of interview, majority of the times interviewers end up saying that, do you have any questions for us? Because interviewer asked many questions. That time, what should be the ideal way of reacting? Meanwhile, you're writing, we are just focusing on the chat box and let's see what you have for us. Okay,
Yeah.
Roshan says, no, it is not possible to cheat in interview because interviewer is more smarter than us. I will not say more smarter here.
Hmm.
He direct denied us from interview. He would deny you. Okay, yes, it's completely right. They know the
Yeah.
ins and outs. They say that if you are a student, the person has done his graduation from the same college. So please, better not
Yeah.
mess.
Exactly. So please don't pull out such stunts, right? So he's right. He's rightly said that they will understand, right? Because they do this on a daily basis. So yeah,
Yeah, Pinky said that there are some common questions to ask at the end of interview, benefit, notice period. I think Pinkesh, it would be quite difficult, and you should not say what are the benefits. You should not ask for the perks. You must focus on your job
mm,
role, understand what
yeah,
they expect from you. Mm-mm-mm. Okay. Rahul Pandey says, no, you know what they do. They will tell you, we will let you know. Okay, right. If he's saying that in case you ask anything, the person will get confused. Okay, no worries. First of all, I got confused by the way, the kind of answer you gave me, Rahul. Good job. Okay. It's time for us to actually tell them what to do. Majority of the learners or
mm,
majority of the applicants, they say, no, I do not have any question and they disconnect. Is it a right way?
no, that is not the right way. One, see, wherever you are applying, right? If you're applying for a company, I understand that you're applying for a certain salary. You're applying for a certain salary bracket. The recruiter also knows that. But in the long run, there must be something more than that salary that you really want, right? Ask about, hey, I did read the job description, but can you tell me what my day to day responsibilities would look like? Simple, effective, actually gives you the idea what you will be doing there, right? So asking these basic questions can actually put an impression that you are very, very interested in the job. And once you join, you would actually contribute to them. If you just say, no, I don't have any questions, that puts you in the frame that, yeah, this person just wants the job because of a certain salary bracket or because, he or she is in the need of job. And yes, while that is true, right, there must be something you want beyond that also. So question the recruiter about it. Even if the recruiter says that we will let you know later, it's fine. But you did your job right. The idea is to be perfect from your end, to deliver the best from your end, not what the recruiter says, right?
Do
So
not
deliver the
ask
best
the
from your end.
salary. Please, please, please do not ask the remuneration. How much would I be paid? Or what's the salary
Yeah,
expectation? Or these things. Do not ask because I
yeah,
think more than yours, it's recruiter's responsibility to let you know what you will be paid or what would be
yeah,
your remuneration in common. Why are you so excited? You're not even now known whether you are selected or not. Why to ask about the money?
yeah,
Isn't it?
exactly. Exactly. And always understand, especially for the people who are experienced and they have had experience even if of just one role and they're applying to someplace else, right? Um, the salary is a negotiable thing. It's a negotiable item, right? If you are genuinely selected, if you have come across as the right person for the job role, they will be open to negotiation, but that comes in later, right? The recruiter will send you a mail. Once you're selected, they send you a mail with a whole, PDF stating whatever the job is, whatever the salary bracket is, and they ask you that if you please contact us back if you have any queries out of that. That is the right way to go about checking the salary to go and on the negotiable front floor, right?
For sure.
So unless and until the recruiter asks you, right, which is another thing that often gets covered during interviews, where they ask, what are your salary expectations? It might not happen in the first round, may happen in the second or the third round of interviews because some places have multiple rounds, right? So this is another question that you must know how to tackle.
Yes, and I
Learn
think Shruti
industry
has also
standards.
written the same thing. He said you should ask question like how the team member will integrate with other employees, the new member, or we can ask
Yes.
about the company's work culture. Of course, these are some basic
Yeah.
things which makes you the person feel that you are excited to join the organization and bring
Yeah.
change.
Yeah.
Okay, here I have a
Exactly.
tricky one. Nowadays, people always prepare for how to start an interview, how to start your speech, what to say, some of the common questions. As we always focus on how to start an interview, it's also important, equally important to focus on how to end an interview. So I want to
Yes.
know from you the moment your interviewer says, okay, that's done from our end, what should you say? Should you directly click on the end session button and run away? or should you greet them or you say something to them before disconnecting? It's the question for both, for you, Miss Tanishka, as well as for our learners. Let's see if they have any idea. If not, then you are there to give answer.
Right. Yeah.
But
While we do that, have you faced that? That you just suddenly click the end button and the person was just saying bye, and then you have that sudden guilt, oh, I didn't do the greeting. Have you had those
yes,
instances? I've had
oh,
plenty
it,
of those where somebody is just speaking to me and I think that, oh, it's over from my end, right? So I close and they're speaking good afternoon and it's gone. And I'm like, oh
yeah.
man, I should really have closed it properly.
You can't even
So
rejoin
yeah,
that time. So you're in an
you
awkward
can't.
space.
Yeah, what do you say? Oh, I've just joined to say bye to you. So yeah,
Uh,
I've faced
okay,
it plenty of times. So
asked us a question. Surya says we can ask work related question. Yes, Surya, you can definitely ask questions. Pinky says
yeah.
after getting interview, just ask them after the interview is over. Okay, if I were selected, how soon will I be joining your organization? Okay, can this be asked?
Okay, again, something that gets conveyed by the recruiter. You are not really, you don't have to be curious about this one. Because one, if your first round of interviews went well, they will be sending you the invitation for the second round, right? So unless and until you've cracked the interview, asking joining date might not be the best idea, right? Because a lot of the times people do inform the company that we are available immediately when they ask you about the notice period, that how early you can join on. So the recruiter has an idea about it already. So they do state it in mails once you are selected. So again, might not be the best question to ask. If you have run out of everything, you may. But
And you
I would
pointed a very
encourage you
beautiful
to not.
question. You
Yeah.
said it rightly. See, you do not know whether you're selected or not. Now, why are you putting a pressure on the person? If I get selected, and some people ask, when will I get to know if I'm selected or not? It's okay. Have patience. You have done your part. Now,
Mm,
if you have given good performance, you will automatically get it. And I think your
yeah.
gut says better. You get to know whether I'll be
Mm,
selected. Have I done enough
yeah.
or not? So
Yeah.
why to keep high
Yeah.
hopes when you know you haven't done anything in the day?
Exactly. And I'm trying not to use a lot of conditionals, right? So using a lot of ifs and buts while asking things may not be the best idea, right? Because it becomes very circumstantial, right? If you get selected, then this, right? You're not aware of it. So try not to use conditionals while you're talking to them. Be very precise about your own questions also, just like the recruiter is. And these small details, right, you will get to know in the mail. Again, I know I'm emphasizing a lot on that, but because I've seen this happening, they inform you everything in a very, good written format. So you don't really have to ask this to the recruiter directly. And understand sometimes recruiter isn't the person who is responsible for the entire hiring process. He's there to take an
They're
interview, and there's
multiple
a team
parties.
behind, right? There's a team behind. So even they are not sure if they're selected or not. They don't know if they'll hire you or not, and there's a whole team to process it, right? So it may not be the best idea to ask such things during the interview.
Yes, okay, amazing. And this finally brings us towards the end of this live session. First of all, it was amazing, Miss Tanishka. Thank you so much for bringing great knowledge towards our learners. I'm sure they got a lot to take away. It's not just about
Yeah.
how to open an interview, it's about closing an interview. We tried telling you some of the things that you must be prepared of. Do not blame others directly. If you are wrong at some part, take on yourself. Apologize. It's okay. There's nothing wrong in
Yeah.
apologizing and appreciating people. So do that. Cheating is not right. Be as natural as possible. And be mindful of the setup you are in, what kind of clothing you'll be wearing on the day, and be prepared. Give some time to that. Prepare it
Yeah.
beforehand. Rest is on, I would say, your performance, not even on destiny, on your performance, how you perform on that day, right? And I would like to say that no matter uh, what you do, of course, you hear a lot of conversation. One day before the interview, you go on YouTube and search for how to crack an interview. All this is a sheer
Yes.
waste if you haven't practically implemented in your life. isn't it?
Yeah,
Every
that is
Sunday or every Saturday we come live. We come live with English Yaari's best tutors who help you, who guide you. But unless and until you put this in practice, you practice with someone who guide you practice with somebody who rectifies you, this will never come into practice. You'll continue having a lot
yeah.
of gyan. What to do of that gyan if you're not knowing with
You
how to
don't.
practically implement it,
Yeah,
right? So I would
yeah,
suggest you keep practicing, keep improving. And I think there was a learner asked about the plan and pricing. Nirbhay, currently we have our offer on. It's summers, it's welting hot outside, so you can enjoy the summer sale, get up to 30% discounts. All you need to do is, whenever you go up there, write down I came here from live session, and you'll get some extra discounts because you were there with us throughout. So this is a small, I would say, confetti from our end. Right?
fair. Yeah, I think they deserve
Okay.
that. Yes.
Rakesh says, hello. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. It all depends upon the interviewer's vibe. Okay, it doesn't depend upon just interviewer's vibe, Rahul. It depends upon how you are
Mm,
feeling. As Miss Tanishka said, be
yeah.
good to yourself.
And to
Right?
the Gen Z, Rahul has put up something very important. Do not use words like vibe in your interviews, guys. Please, the Gen Z, do not. It comes out as extremely unprofessional. Again, your vocabulary matters. The way you
See,
use words matters. Your grammar matters. Do not
invest
go
in
ahead
yourself.
use words like vibe. Okay, you can't say that in an interview. Please don't, Rahul.
Yeah, and especially when it comes to our day-to-day life, we spend so much. It's time for you to invest in your skills, work on your skills, and improve it over time. And you'll see a lot
Yeah.
of change, right? How to
Yeah.
handle jam rounds, and there's so many questions. First of all, Gurveshwar says, how much price of the course, Gurveshwar? All of you out there, I would request you to download the EnglishYaari app. Take your live one-on-one session with expert tutors like Miss Tanishka and many other. There top tutors. They go through a, as I was just talking about interview, they themselves go through a rigorous interview, four-step hiring process, and then they filtered out as an EnglishYaari tutor. So you're not getting trained by someone who's a rookie. You're getting trained by someone who holds a lot of experience. If you know about Miss Tanishka, she has been training learners from 4 or 5 years now, and so goes with all our tutors. So feel free, join us in, and we'll see you all in the session. Have a great day. Have a great weekend this time. Enjoy.
Yes.
Anything that you would like to say,
Yes.
Mr. Rishi, before we wrap up?
Anybody who's about to, face interviews, all the young people who just graduated, you might be sitting for interviews. All the best to you guys. I hope we were able to help you out. Very simple pointers. Do not make a fuss out of this. Keep it as simple as possible, and you'll be able to do it in a much, much confident manner. Do not panic, right? Don't
Yes.
worry yourself.
Yes,
All the
Munira.
best
Practice
to
makes
every
perfect.
person.
Yeah,
Yes.
we'll see you soon with another live session. Till then, keep practicing, keep improving, and we'll all catch you in our live one-on-one sessions. Have a great
Yeah.
evening ahead. Bye bye.
Bye bye.